All right, we're live. So, welcome to another Run Wild with Us, Ask Us Anything. I'm Lisa Kastner. I am the founder and executive editor of Running Wild and RIZE Presses. And I am here with you on Thursdays between 5 and 6 p.m. Pacific time, 8 and 9 p.m. Eastern time. And I am here. Ta da! It's like magic. Uh, with some of our amazing editors, including the phenomenal Ben White, who is wearing a fabulous sweatshirt
Yeah,
that I think I'm going to steal at some point. Yeah, that's pretty
yeah.
cool.
It's my sons tell me that it looks like I lost in paintball.
Well, I mean, who's to say you weren't lost in paintball? I'm just saying.
I could be.
You can be. Absolutely. And I know for a fact we're going to get Peter tonight because he already texted me asking me for the link. So I'm like, all
Yeah,
right, man. That means
I
your
use that
she
link
needs to
too.
show up.
You just said I had to use that link. The
Oh,
this
yeah?
StreamYard wasn't working.
Well, at least we got you, right?
Yeah,
So,
I went in
yeah.
all by myself. I said that's not right. I can't be first. I'm never first.
Yeah, no, nope, nope, never, never, ever, ever. CJ Grant says, good evening, everyone. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday, CJ. As always, fabulous to see you.
CJ, Margaret.
Woo! Margaret Buchanan. Hey, everyone. Hey, Margaret. Fabulous to see you as well. Yeah. Um, so Ben,
Yes,
the audience needs to know, how was your week or 2 weeks really? How was the last 2 weeks, man?
it's it's been busy, but it's been productive. I
Yeah.
started the novel Shaking. Started editing
Ooh,
it. Finally got to it, and it's well written and it's flowing along. Got a good story to it, and the characters are interesting.
mm,
So that's good.
that's wonderful.
Yeah, it's 500 pages,
Mm,
and I'm on about 154. But so far, all the pages are necessary. They're all linking together nicely, and the story's coming together nicely. So it's
nice.
there's not too much skim over fluff, if any.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
fabulous.
yeah. The chapters are short, and like I said, it's well written and to the
Mm.
point, and the dialogue rings true, which is always good.
Oh, that's huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Just a few minor tweaks along the way, but so far so so good.
Mm, very cool. Well, we have 4 titles left that need editors. So, and then we'll go back and start assessing the ones that have been waiting patiently for us to look at. So,
That's like the
um
light at the end of the tunnel.
I know, seriously. Well, I mean, it was like, and I remember when we acquired all these titles and we had that conversation, like, do we really want to make offers on all these? And I was like, oh, sure, it'll be fine. Don't worry about it. It's good. A bunch of them will say no.
Yeah.
we'll we'll be in a great place. And we all went, all right. And then the next thing you know, there I think all but like 2 said, oh hell yeah. And I was, uh oh. All
Whoops.
Whoops. Well, we'll make it work. But yeah, we're down at we only have
We
4.
are close to making it work. 4 to go.
Well, at least we're transparent about it,
Yeah.
Like we're not like, oh yeah, we'll have this to you tomorrow. We're like, all right, it's gonna be a little while. Whoops. Sorry about that.
Is production backed up?
Yeah, so I actually started looking into I just engaged a new interior file
Yeah.
because the company we've been using for years, I think they just keep getting backed up, and we have a couple of titles that we really want to get out within a certain time frame.
Right.
So I sent the new company 2 that are really widely varied. One, there's not really any imagery, it's a more straightforward, and the other one is it's a memoir, so there's a lot of pictures in it, and you really actually need the pictures because it gives you greater context, you know.
Yeah.
So they say they've got a 4-day turnaround for the first draft. So if they can do that,
But
you
yeah.
know, yeah, I mean that's huge for us. We used to have a much faster turnaround, and then part of me wonders if we just overwhelm them because we go through cycles where we'll send them over the course of a week like 6 or 7 titles,
Yeah.
you know, and they're already finishing the ones that we sent them previously. I told Evangeline that I want to get at least one, if not two more companies that we can work with, and then that
Yeah.
way it'll make it easier on everybody.
Sure.
So yeah, so no, yeah, we're definitely we're exploring that now. So, and I also anyone who's watching, I want to apologize. So we actually started sending out we wanted it to be better about sending notices to anyone who's signed up for our newsletter, like about our books coming out and stuff like that. Well, we have a new assistant, and he made these beautiful, beautiful templates of for each book. And I said, okay, well, books that came out this year that have already come out, right? So like January 1 to June 5, just do like one day at a time, right? Like send one and then wait a day and then send another and then wait a day. So he said, and I said, the rest of them, schedule them, right? So like have it that announcement comes out on the day the book comes out, because we're including in it links to, it says Amazon, but really it's the link to the audiobook and then ebook, and it has a link to the paperback, and the paperback takes you to the bookshop.org link, right? And he was like, "Yep, totally got it, all good." Well, he's new to HubSpot, and HubSpot's what we use for any of our emails, right? And I have a sneaking suspicion he went to schedule it, and instead of it scheduling, it just sent it, because some HubSpot can be a little confusing. So I said, okay, hold off on, and I only know this because I got a whole bunch of emails from people going, is this spam? Is this real? Who the hell is this? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm so sorry. We'll fix it. Don't worry. So we're working on that now. So I'm sorry that I heard, from what I heard, it was like 15 emails. So, we all have a learning curve. He's got his learning curve. It is all good. So again, apologies for that. Caroline says, "Hi, Lisa and Ben, Margaret, CJ, great to see you." Oh gosh, Caroline, as always, fabulous to see you as well. I love it that we have our fam, coming on and joining us. I did forget to say, even though it is in the banner, guys. So the whole purpose of this is you get to ask the acquisition editors and editors in general of Running Wild and Rise Presses whatever the hell you want. And you really can. You can ask us whatever the hell you want. Like, we are very, very open.
We've got answers.
We've got answers. You may not like them, but we have.
They sound made up.
Well, I didn't say that part.
Well,
So,
that's for me.
but we've all been around the creative writing industry for, at minimally, I want to say 20 years, at least among me, Ben, and Peter. We've been around a while, and we've all been engaged in anything from independent to bigger, if not the large presses. So even though our press, we publish usually between 20 and 40 books a year, and um, we are with a major distributor, but we are smaller. So even though that's where we are today, we actually can give you answers regarding things that run the gamut across the publishing industry. So, uh, Caroline's like, yeah, all Ben, Ben. Well,
Time.
as we know, I mean, that's why there's an exclamation point at the end of his name. Like, "der." Come on, people. Uh, I was going to tell you something. Oh, yeah. So the whole point of this is to ask this question. So whether you are joining from Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or LinkedIn or TikTok, because we actually repost this sometimes on TikTok, it depends on how long it is. um, then all you have to do is go ahead and put your question in the comment section. And the way we work it is I'll repeat the question and then we take turns in responding. Did I say terms? That's fabulous. Turns. There's an N, not an M. Yay. I know English. We take turns responding to your question. And if we don't have an answer, honestly, we're actually pretty, like I said, we're pretty open. Like we'll just defer it and try and come up with something. Now, if you're watching this and you're watching a recording, because our all of our recordings are kept online in all those different venues that I already mentioned, then still put your question there, because what we'll do is we go back and we check for new comments and we or questions, and we respond to those questions in the subsequent week. So give it to us, man. Ask away. We are, like I said, we are completely down. And a lot of times you're going to get a visitor. Her name is Margarita. Her nickname is Rita. And she does not like it when she is not the center of my attention. So don't be surprised if all of a sudden you either hear meowing or I go, ow, because her way of getting my attention sometimes is to bite me, which I don't actually appreciate. But hey, uh, Rod Gilly says, "Hey guys, hey Rod, awesome to see you. Woo woo." Rod is actually was for a while one of our editors, and he has gone on to have his own editing services. So if you are interested in something like that, give Rod a buzz. He's most active on Twitter, or X as it is known today, and also has some stuff going on YouTube. So go and check him out. Caroline says, glad to see somebody else I love. Lisa is a little dyslexic. Well, I mean, yes.
If if the world hands you melons, you're probably dyslexic.
Well, yeah, that's okay. Versus lemons for lemonade. They paid you
So
melons.
you're not
Yeah.
as dyslexic as you thought.
No. It's kind of fun though to at least pretend, and then that way people get all freaked out. So I also want to
Is that
do
a virtual screen behind you?
is this a virtual screen behind
Yeah,
me?
yeah.
Yes. I
Just
don't
curious. Okay,
actually
so you're not
I
torturing the cat.
No, but how funny would that be?
I thought of it.
You thought of it. I'm sure you're the only one, but that's okay. Um, I thought I wanted to do a quick ad. So, Caroline's like, dyslexic is good, Lisa. Well, hell, yeah, of course it is. Come on. But I wanted to do a quick ad for Jonathan Mayberry, who's this huge award-winning New York Times bestselling author. Almost always, I can't say always, I'd say 98% of the time wears a Hawaiian shirt. um well, it's true. He actually does an Ask Us Anything right before this one on Thursdays. He does it from 4 to 5 p.m. Pacific time. I definitely recommend watching it. His is more focused on more like pop culture and like what's going. He has so many book series going on in multiple venues. I mean, like he'll write a book and then the next thing you know, it shows up in comics and graphic novels and audio, and he's getting TV offers and film offers and everything. So his questions are typically more so focused on the characters within those universes. That said, it is a super duper fun ask us anything or ask him anything. And in all honesty, he's the one who came up with this when right before COVID hit. He was like, "How come you're not doing an Ask Me Anything?" And I mean, I didn't say this, but I thought it really loudly. I mean, I'm used to being on camera, don't get me wrong, but I don't like being the only one, in air quotes, because I don't believe any of us can do anything without each other, if that makes sense, right? Like which is why it also upsets me when like Ben gets emails saying Lisa would be proud of you. It's like, what the hell are you talking about? The man is a fucking PhD. Why are you saying things like
Yeah.
this to him?
Lisa Kastner would be so pleased.
It's like, no, no, no. Stop doing that. Um, but yeah, I mean, in at least personally believe that we are only better by engaging others, and especially those who we know are fabulous. Like I'm not a very competitive person. I have a lot of goals and I have a lot of objectives, and I'm very passionate, and I have a lot of strong beliefs. But one of those beliefs is that we're only stronger with each other. So, any hoodle. So that's how this became an Ask Us Anything, is because I was like, who the hell wants to hear me blather on for days? It would be better. Exactly, Caroline. It's better together, right? It's better when it's like, first it was just me, Ben, and Peter, and then we opened it up to our other editors, who sometimes come in and sometimes don't. But if any of our editors are watching, there's a reason you were invited. It's because we want you to participate. We want you to be a part of this. We know that what you have to say is valuable. So, but if you don't want to join, then that's good as well. Like, it's no harm, no foul. So anyway, so yeah, guys, definitely check out Jonathan's Ask Him Anything. Like I said, it's a whole lot of fun. So awesome. Anything else you've been up to, young man? Or Ben?
Yeah, I got the book released. We can't leave the book out without mentioning the book.
Oh, that's right. Well
There.
done.
God is an atheist.
I
The title alone is worth the purchase price.
The title alone is worth you getting excommunicated from multiple countries.
It's
It's
true.
fine.
So buy it quick before it gets banned in a neighborhood near you.
That's awesome. Ah,
Yeah, but
I'd
it's
buy it just to see it get banned.
yeah, banned and burned.
There you
Uh,
go.
yeah.
Rod says, of course, Ben can walk into a swamp and it will turn into a beautiful fairyland. He's Ben. That is true. That absolutely, absolutely. Um, uh, two, actually, a couple things along those lines. One, we have actually Family Pack that Ben was my editor for. That comes out October 3rd, and I just confirmed today that I will have the book launch at Artifacts Books in Encinitas, California, on October 5th at 3 p.m. And it's actually going to be myself and Jonathan Mayberry, because Jonathan has a ton of books coming out this year. He just had a killer book called Necrotech come out, which I had the privilege of reading a preview copy of, and it's amazing, guys. Um, and I've already confirmed book signings at Dark Delicacies, which is in Burbank, California, and actually I think at Warwick's, if I remember correctly, which is another major amazing independent bookseller. So as I get the dates confirmed, I'm gonna actually post it. And I was actually thinking of making a T-shirt, like um a tour T-shirt. Just because I'm gonna be in Philly and New York later this month, or later this year rather, and I thought, dude, how cool would that be to do like a whole bunch of signings around then? That would be a lot of fun. So anyway, um, and then also a reminder, if anyone is watching and you are a graduate of Drexel University, I'm actually going to be the keynote speaker for Drexel University's College of Arts and Sciences on June 14th of actually, so next Friday,
That's right.
at yeah, at noon, and they're actually going to record it. So I'm not going to give any spoilers, but the speech I've prepared that I'm rehearsing quite a bit because I'm the goober that likes to like walk on stage and trip and then I forget what my name is. Um, which, fingers crossed that does not occur, but hey, you never know. So, but look for that because I've already asked permission to be able to post the link to the recording in the future, and I really think it's something that you may find a lot of value out of. So, and you might want to share again because yeah, you'll see, and then all of a sudden you're going to ask me all these weirdo questions that I may or may not answer based on that lecture. So anyway, um let's see. Someone asked, oh, Caroline, Ben, what are you up to in that wonderful shirt? Tell us about this week. I think you kind of did that, right? Or
Yeah, you missed it, Caroline. It's my paintball shirt. I lost in paintball.
now I
I
want to
got
play
lit up in
paintball.
paintball. But this week is editing Shaking, a new novel, and the short stories are being compiled to start looking at those and
Mm.
letting authors know. So we're into number 9, anthology 9, short story
Woo!
anthology 9 is in the
Nice,
works.
nice. Yeah, and I'm working. So I just finished editing a novel that, um, well, we're kind of in debate as to what the title will be, and I just started editing a memoir that I think I'll just say it's probably going to take me longer than I'd originally anticipated, but that's okay. It's fine. And I'm mentoring a young man who I'll look over his novel. So I'm a mentor for the Horror Writers Association, and I just came from StokerCon, which is the Horror Writers Association's annual conference. It is a fabulous conference, guys. By the way, you don't have to be a horror writer. I mean, as long you can write all kinds of different stories, because in all honesty, the reality is most books today are cross genre. Like, boom, period. And I'd say the majority of the authors who attend StokerCon actually are cross genre authors. It's just that they're like the core of the story that they might be known for that within that conference um, is is some type of horror. I've got to tell you that it's always a shock when I'm suddenly on a panel with someone like Paul Tremblay, who has had multiple awards, multiple books made into like huge selling uh movies. I mean, I think the one that that first comes to mind, I think it was called The Cabin, or The Cabin at the End of the World. And I mean, the movie itself was amazing, but good lord, you've got to read the book. I mean, the book blows the movie away. But yeah, it's just you if you're an author, or even if you're just a book nerd, seriously, go to StokerCon. It is so worth it. Um, let's see. Margaret says Ron DeSantis is coming for you, Ben.
I posted a video of a couple of poems, reading a couple of poems. I don't know if it came out on Facebook or not.
No,
It's no, either that or nobody wanted to give me a good old thumbs up.
it could, maybe your timing was off. Maybe you just have to redo it. Margaret says Moms for Liberty are going to ban your book. Yeah, I could totally see that. I could
Yeah.
totally see that. Yeah.
I'll,
And
I'll just stay out of Florida and away from Moms for Liberty.
Caroline says, "Am I into 9, Ben?" I don't know what that means, so I'm
That's
hoping
in the
yes.
Anthology 9. You do have a story in the running. Yes, Caroline.
Oh, cool. Very cool. Um, and Rod asks, how many genres are there nowadays? I was recently introduced to a genre called extreme erotic horror. That's a new one for me. I honestly think that it's every time you turn around, someone's coming up with some kind of new genre. I mean, that's I mean, in all honesty, that's part of the reason why we don't limit ourselves. We just say, look, if it's a great story, we'll check it out. Um, it's because we're more so focused on the the depth and breadth of the story itself and the
Yeah.
quality of the writing. So, I mean, we could Google it if you want and see.
Before you go to
All right.
bed, put on your pajamas.
Huh?
Put on your
Uh,
pajamas before you go to bed. That's a pajama.
all right. How many different genres of books are there?
I was giving time as you looked it up.
Thank you. According to this, there are 36, or 35, but that cannot be right. There's no way there's only 35.
That's
Now,
they asked Bob Dylan once, how many protest singers are there? And he answered 36.
okay.
Maybe just a 36, just a general answer for any question.
It
They said,
might
Bob, how
be.
many protest singers are in America today? He said, 36.
Because as if you know, because I personally just sit here and count them, and I have a little tick box over my desk that
Of course.
reminds me. Nope. Caroline says, yes, Lisa, you got what's important. Genre are always changing the quality of the writing. Well, thank you, Caroline. I hope so. Let's see. Oh, we've got Peter. Yay!
Hello.
Hey, man. How's it going?
Good, good. How are you guys doing? Happy Thursday.
Awesome. Happy Thursday. What have you been up to?
Oh, man. Well, we've been up to a bunch of things. The pool was finally finished a week or so ago, so we're ready to enjoy that. It looks beautiful. My wife and I celebrated our 20th wedding anniversary last week on the 30th,
Woo!
so I'm really proud about that. And we went to see the Rolling Stones on Monday night.
Wow.
That was a fantastic concert. I mean, these guys are 80 years old. They've been playing together since they were 62, or since they were 20 for 62 years. And the show is just magnificent. You can tell how much Mick Jagger owns the stage. And Keith Richards just owns that guitar. And Ronnie Wood is right there with him. And it's just fantastic. These guys are just rocking like teenagers. It was fantastic.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool. So what's going on with you guys? What have I missed?
Ben has owned that he just published a book that's going to be banned shortly.
Awesome.
Yeah, we'll show it again.
Yeah.
I saw that title. That's fantastic.
Isn't it fantastic?
Congratulations. What other book would you want to publish?
I mean, we're gonna publish what in September. God is a tequila worm, so why can't God be an atheist too?
It's a good lead up. Good lead up.
Totally.
I found out that I've got a book under anonymous. Say their names. And I found out this week that it's been discontinued.
Oh, why?
It was only published like 2 years ago.
Oh, oops.
Oh, that means what? They sold like 4
I'll
and then
show
went,
them.
never mind.
That's
oh
awesome.
my God. That is totally awesome.
I do have a recommendation.
Ooh,
Ripe?
okay, cool. Ripe?
Yeah.
What's
Great title.
It is a great title.
It's kind of a dystopian world that hits pretty close to home. It's a collection of poems. It's a nice collection.
Ah, cool.
It was just sitting here.
I actually got
What else have I got to show?
I got pitched a couple of book ideas while I was at StokerCon, and some of them just sound amazing. So I can't wait for you guys to, and me, to check them out. I think they are right up our alley. So, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Carol,
Go
sorry, go
ahead.
ahead. Mm-mm.
No, I was just gonna say the second novel I edited for Running Wild was a very dystopian tale, Magpie's Return, and it
Mm.
continues to haunt me to this day because it's always just around the corner what could happen, and it's so utterly terrifying to have this 1 foot in each world. It's very very unsettling.
Mm.
So I'm familiar with dystopian, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, totally. And wasn't that one of the ones that went on to win like Best of the Year by Kirkus?
It was one of the finalists for Book of the Year. It won the Book of the Month, YA Book of the Month for July of 2020,
Mm.
and earned a Starred Kirkus review.
Yeah, awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Rod asks, "Hey Peter, what mischief are you up to this week? What else have you been doing, young man?"
Fortunately, nothing. I mean, it's been very nice and boring. We ran around all weekend last weekend. We stayed in a very scary motel on Monday night. We got to mix with the riff and the raff.
Nice.
So, I mean, hotels with the doors and walls so thin that somebody having a conversation, smoking a big old cigarette outside the door, you could hear like they were sitting in the room with us.
Oh my.
We've all stayed in those hotels, and we all know what I'm talking about. And it's like, ugh, no, I don't like that. But otherwise, just working to finish up this novel that's just turned the corner from the first draft. It's just amazing what he's done with this book. I'm really excited. I really want to get it back to him because I want to see how he brings it all home. So, other than that, working on my own stuff and just writing.
Excellent, because we've been harassing you to do that. So
I know. It's on my shoulder right here. Why aren't you writing? I'm writing.
We're gonna start sicking Ben on you, like just having him randomly show up at your door. Excuse me.
Well, I mean, I look at you and Curtis, and you guys are kicking out books, every 8, 9, 10 months? It's like incredible the turnaround time that you guys got going on. And Ben puts out a book of poems every 2 or 3 weeks, from what I can tell.
Isn't that insane? It is
That's
insane.
amazing. I mean, it's like, wow. So I got good people to look up to. So.
Well, no, you've got good people to be a part of.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
That fits better.
Oh, Caroline says, Ben, can you hold up that cover again so we can all see it?
Which one? Right?
Why do both of them? Why not?
Must be right.
Okay. And
Right
who's the
is
author?
from Alien Buddha Press.
And it's Emily
Flynn.
Emily Flynn. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. And what about the other one? That shouldn't
the
exist.
Other one it's more of a requirement to. I couldn't even keep a straight face. There you go.
You want to be Ben's friend, you must buy this book.
And it's like I tell my students, do you want to pass? I say that for ethics class, though.
Why do you say that for? I don't even want to know.
Obvious reasons. It's my visual aid for no ethics.
I see that. Yeah. I see that. Get it? Visual aid. See? Yeah. Sorry.
This really is bad. A profound and provocative reflection on faith and humanity.
Did you give yourself that quote, or
no? The publisher.
Is that AI?
Is that AI? That's great.
Oh, so what you're saying is you didn't read it.
What? What?
No, I said that's good.
Rod Gilly says, I once stayed in a hotel in Louisville, Kentucky, in which I heard 3 different makeout sessions at once. Thin walls are hotel staples, I guess. I did not need to know that. Yeah. Nope.
What's the hotel Louisville down by the river? The old hotel. Rod knows. Rod, what's down by the river? The old hotel everybody stays at.
What, in Kentucky?
Yeah, in Louisville.
Oh, in Louisville.
I think Fitzgerald stayed there.
Okay. I'm just gonna leave that there. over there.
Yeah.
Just saying. Oh, and I will at some point, I think, be able to talk about a writers workshop retreat in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. But I'm still waiting on getting contracts. And I think what we're going to end up doing, guys, is it's just going to be me, Cody, and Tihi or Ruben this time in, I think it's in November, if I remember correctly. And then if it's successful, we'll probably do it like 6 months to a year later. So I've actually never, I've attended plenty of these. I mean, probably far too many than any human being needs to. But I've never run one before. And this is intended to be like a Running Wild RIZE, centric one. So this is like our proof of concept. Let's prove that this actually makes sense and people would want to go. So anyway, but I'll be able to share more once I actually have some contracts that are signed. I'm like I said, I'm still waiting for the invoices. So
It's gonna be a weekend thing or a week-long thing.
I think it's either 3 or 4 days. So like either Thursday to Sunday or like Friday to Sunday. And the intent is like the morning is the workshop and then the afternoon is a lecture by one of the speakers.
Mm-hmm.
And each workshop is only 5 attendees the first time around.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so and it's in a spa, which is nice. Like a schmancy.
Now all of a sudden Ben wants to go.
I know, right? He's like, "Oh, well, that's fine then. I can do that." So yeah, and then I think you I believe you can submit 20 to 30 pages of a manuscript in progress.
Oh wow, that's a lot.
And
That's good.
yeah, exactly, it's a lot. But I just made that up out off the top of my head. It's from what I remember, so watch, it's probably nothing even close to that. But there's a $20 admission fee. So, or submission fee. So, we'll work all that out, which actually that's $20 isn't bad. Like from what I remember, some places nowadays are charging like 30 and 40. So,
Wow.
but yeah, and actually that's a nice intimate number, 5 people, so.
Mm-hmm. That's almost one person per instructor. That's a really good. That's a phenomenal balance, actually.
Yeah. Well, no. It's 5 per instructor.
Oh, okay. So 20
But
people. Okay.
yeah. So still, you're gonna get like almost, if it's 4 days, it's almost 1 full day per person. Right? For in terms of like getting feedback and stuff. So yeah, I think it sounds very cool. I'm really looking forward to seeing how it evolves. Oh, and I also got confirmation we'll be at the American Library Association's conference. We'll be part of IBPA. That's the Independent Book Publishers Association's table, and we're up for possibly doing some panels at AWP, which is the Association of Writers and Writing Programs. So we'll see what comes up with that. So yeah, lots and lots going on. I'm like reading through these. Most of these are comments. Okay, CJ has actual question. Okay, here's a question. What are some ideas for obtaining blurbs or reviews before book launches? I don't know. Ben, how do you do it?
You just tap into the network that you know,
Mhm.
and keep asking, because that network knows their network, and so when you ask someone in your network, who do you recommend outside who I know? Can you tell me somebody else? And then just ask them, and whether it's social media or email or you sit down and write a postcard. but because there's really no wrong way, I don't think, to get those to approach somebody for a blurb. And everybody wants, maybe everybody wants Stephen King, maybe everybody wants somebody famous, but so many are just writers in that network of writers that you know. So tap into that, and don't hesitate to ask. We've talked about it before. One of our authors asked Bobby Ann Mason if she would uh, do a blurb for his book. She said, "I really don't have time, but I'll thank you for asking." She was very gracious,
Mm.
and if they're not gracious, then mark them off the list. Don't ask them again. And so it's and then I think Margaret's about to say it, but the editors and or the publishers that you work with, there's a network there, and if it fits, and they can work it out. But it's I've actually edited a book and then told the writer, I do not want my name as the editor in your book. I want to write a blurb for it, and then just write the blurb, and then avoid the conflict of interest appearance of, well, you edited it and did a blurb too. As in, just take my reference out. I don't need to have my editing credits, but I'll give you a blurb for the book because this fits. And I've done that maybe 3 times with some books I've edited. So that editor is a good place to start.
Cool.
How about you, Peter?
I was going to say exactly what Ben was going to say. So I'm just going to sit this one out.
Okay. I want to, well, ditto to what Peter said. And another thing, or Peter said, well, ditto. That kind of fits. But like a piggyback on this is, if you're with a publisher, if you're with a publisher, look at the books that they've already published. And if there is an author that you're a fan of, or you think they're in the same genre or whatever, you can always ask your publisher if they would approach that author on your behalf. That is completely acceptable. Also keep in mind that, back to both Ben and Peter's point about, don't be shy, approach. I mean, there are tons, like, I'm a huge Alma Katsua fan, right? And I'm a huge Stephen Graham Jones fan. And I'm a huge fan of a lot of different authors. Just know that you approach them early on, right? And what I mean by that is, like, the minute you are done with that final edit, you can easily take that version, put "this is an advanced review copy" on it, PDF that baby, and then use that as the advanced review copy version, digital version, to approach these authors. There are some huge names that do exactly that. Like, I'm not kidding. Seriously. Because I've actually gotten a few advanced review copies from really well-known authors asking me to read stuff for them. Now, that doesn't mean that they actually use my blurb. It may just be they, because we're friends too. So it was probably more of just like a, please confirm for me that I'm not a complete fool, which, like, I'm ever going to say, wow, this was shit. Like, give me a break, right? Like, that's not going to happen. And it's highly unlikely as well that it would be not any good. But you can do that, right? PDF it, reach out to them, let them know. If for me, if it's someone I've never met before, but we have mutual friends, I might say, hey, I'm a huge fan of yours. I loved whatever. I'm gonna have a book coming out sometime next year, and I would love it if you would consider reading it. And if you're comfortable, if you would write a blurb, I would really appreciate it. And that way there's no pressure, right? First of all, they know they've got plenty of time. Second of all, they know that you're familiar with their work, so therefore you're familiar enough that they would align, like, their stuff would align to your stuff. And third, you've taken the pressure off by saying, I would just love it if you just check this out, right? Like, I'm not saying give me a blurb. I'm just saying, if you think it's worthy, would you, give me a blurb? And believe it or not, that makes a big, big difference, right? Because think about it, if you were the one on the receiving end, you know. Also, don't forget when you're going to these conferences and you're going to writers' things and festivals and all that. Um, and this may sound hokey, but having that business card with your info on it, including like, the names of the books that you have coming out, or your website or whatever. Introduce yourself to people that you would normally be too terrified to introduce yourself to, right? I'm serious. Like, look, I'm naturally more of an introvert than an extrovert. And the first few times that I approached people and just said, "Hi, I'm Lisa," and I just, wanted to introduce myself and say, I'm a fan of whatever, right? Um, and I mean, I wasn't just shaking in my boots. I mean, I was probably stuttering the whole time, right? But you get used to it. Not used to stuttering. You get used to approaching people that don't know you. And but then that way, when the time comes, well, A, you've opened up a door so you can continue talking, right? And B, it if you do approach them in the future about possibly giving you a blurb, it's not so blind. Do you know what I mean? Like, at least they might have a vague memory of who you are, and you can go back to them. So, um, but
But
yeah.
it's got the editors who publish an excerpt. If they like that excerpt enough to publish it, and then you're going to publish the whole thing. That's actually worked with me with journals that publish
Mhm,
poems from a collection. And I went back to the publisher and asked for a blurb for the whole collection. And
mhm.
they've seen your work, and they say, "Oh, yeah, we can base it on what we've seen." And that's a blurb is a blurb. It doesn't have to be on the whole thing, and just one little golden thread of what it did. And
Actually, that's a great point. Like, I've had authors offer, like, "Hey, I don't have time to write a blurb specifically on this work, but I love your work. I am more than happy to write a blurb about your writing in general." Right? So, don't totally don't take that off the table. You know what I mean?
and another place is when if you're going through an MFA program.
Hmm.
So many students, there'll be guest uh, readers coming in, guest poets or guest writers coming in to read from their work. And so many students don't meet there. They don't go up and introduce themselves to those working writers.
Hmm.
And it's a missed opportunity later on to say, "Well, I met you at the University of Tampa. I really liked your work. Now I've graduated. I've got my work coming out. Would you be interested in doing a blurb?" And
Hmm.
back to the MFA, the instructors that you've had, and whether they're full time instructors at the school or summer residence instructors, keep them in mind because that's part of your network.
That's an excellent point. I mean, my MFA had some phenomenal, not just instructors, but like guest speakers.
Yeah.
And I was brazen enough to actually friend them, like, on, you know, Instagram and Facebook and like LinkedIn. Some of them I haven't had the balls yet to actually ask them if they would be willing to check out some of my writing. Like one of them, like Wally Lamb, I haven't had the courage to actually do that. Or even Stephen Graham Jones. I've had the balls to actually comment on one of his books on Twitter, but I haven't actually had the courage to say, "Hey, would you be willing to check this out?" Um, and the only reason I actually even asked Alma Katsua, who eventually said she just didn't have the time, which is all good, was because I had actually met her at a conference and we talked at length. Um, but yeah, I totally feel, I totally understand that. And yeah, and I agree to both Ben and CJ's point. uh, Going to that journal editor who published some of your stories. And honestly, they may actually be able to give you recommendations in terms of additional folks um, who could give you some blurbs. So that's a really smart play.
I agree with that. I agree with the to go up and ask them, build up the courage to just approach them, whether at your MFA, if they're a guest speaker. I'm actually friends with one of the speakers from my MFA, a very prolific author. I think it's fantastic.
Mm.
Incidentally, Wally Lamb is a fellow alma mater of my MFA program, and he wouldn't even wouldn't accept my friend request because he doesn't know me. So I wouldn't take it personal if he doesn't reach out. But my favorite saying these days is "You can't get if you don't ask."
Right.
I mean, I'm not a people person either. I'm very much happier behind my keyboard than I am talking to anybody face to face. But when I was going to the AWP conference in 2017, 2018, and I had one goal on my mind, was to find a publisher for my novella. And I went out, I had rehearsed the entire way over, the 4-hour drive from coast to coast. And I rehearsed the speech until I could nail it down into like a 15-second elevator speech. And I walked up to publishers one after another. And fortunately, I found Lisa. She's like, send it to me. I'll take a look at it. And here we are. So,
Ta-da!
can't get it if you don't ask.
By the way, it's a really good novella. In case you guys haven't actually checked it out, I think it was it in our first or second novella anthology?
Third.
Maybe it was the
third
third. The third.
anthology. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, it's a really brilliant literary novella, cross genre. It's one of those, like, you read a couple pages and you're like, okay, I need to sit down for a second because there's like so much context going on. Like it's so rich that you're like, all these images are going through your head, and then it's like, okay, all right, I had my bowl of ice cream. All right, now let me go back, and it stays with you. Actually, both of these guys, that's how they're also both editors and acquisition editors for Running Wild, because they both are such gorgeous, phenomenal writers, and they weren't dicks. Which, by the way, that was one of the panels I taught at StokerCon, was "Don't be a dick," which they made me change to how to interact successfully with small, mid-size, no, with all publishers. That was it. How to successfully interact with all publishers, because we actually had Tor, an editor from Tor, which is one of the larger or largest, because I think they're a subsidiary of, I think it's Simon and Schuster or something like that. But anyway, but yeah, I was like, can we just call it "Don't Be a Dick"? I mean, that kind of basically, that's
Cuts to the chase.
it, cuts to the chase. So we just named it.
Questions.
We named it "Don't Be a Dick" again as soon as we like got in the room. So anyway, whatever. But yeah, these guys are there are multiple reasons why they're actually here today. So that's just a couple of them.
And, approach those writers. Once again, it's I remember Sean Thomas Doherty came and read in Tampa, and
Yeah.
a great poet and a great deliverer and performer of his work. And I was listening to him, and he writes about people he knows in common situations, and it struck me that, once you are a writer about where you come from and the people you transcend them, and you're really no longer a part of them because you've separated yourself from them by writing about them. And I always wished I'd had that conversation with him, and but I didn't. But it was, it's that if they spark ideas, anybody sparks an idea, ask them about it, have the conversation, have the discussion.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you never know. Some of my closest friends and longest running friends, I guess you could say, were because I just thought, this person seems really awesome, and although I'm completely intimidated, I'm just going to go up and say hi. So totally, just go for it, guys. All right, we only have 6 minutes left. Like, how crazy is that? So don't forget, if you are watching us and it is Thursday between 5 and 6 p.m. Pacific time, 8 and 9 p.m. Eastern time, or I don't know why I can't say N and M ending words tonight, but it is kind of funny, actually. then all you have to do is pop your question into the comments section, and we will just take turns in responding. Or if you're watching this and it's the recording, again, that's all good too. All you have to do is go ahead, pop your question into the comments section, and we actually get notifications throughout the week that we've gotten new questions, and we will respond to them in that subsequent week. Um, so yeah, so you guys, do you have anything really, really cool going on in the upcoming week? Anything fun?
I got nothing. I mean, I can't really top a Rolling Stones concert in an anniversary. So
Well, that's a month's worth. You just keep talking about that for the next 3 weeks.
Oh, hell yeah. Totally.
Well, watching those two just jam on the guitar up on stage reinvigorated my willingness and eagerness to learn the guitar. So I was practicing for the past couple of days, trying to figure out how the hell they do what they do with those strings. So it's been interesting. So I'll be gonna be practicing my guitar more for the next couple of weeks. So there's that.
Excellent. All right. Cool. How about you, Ben?
I've got a couple of poems coming out in some journals, which are always exciting. One's an anthology. It's a military-minded anthology about robotics, and so I've got a poem in there, and then another poem coming out in the Maintenance 18 journal, which is global. So that's always great to see. Always good to be appreciated.
Always good.
Yep.
Absolutely. No, I feel all right. I'm gonna share a very inappropriate story that has nothing to do with writing. So, but it's directly related to the Rolling Stones.
Cool.
So when I was 20, I don't know, in my early 20s.
So 3 or 4 years ago, right?
Yeah, exactly. I was like casually dating this guy who his father was one of the like tour producers for a variety of talent. And he was one of the executive producers for the Rolling Stones concert that was going when they were going along the East Coast. And at the time I worked fabulous. I lived in New Jersey. So the guy knew that I I was in my early 20s. We were in college together, and both of us, we needed money, and so he says, "Hey, do you want to work the Stones concert?" And I was like, "Well, yeah." It actually paid really well, considering, I mean, what we were doing. It was like um it was more so like managing all the stuff for the staff, because the Stones, they have their own staff that come through with them, right? So this was more like helping out with like food preparation and making sure that the Stones staff have everything that they need, and stuff like that. Well, and like setting up all the backstage stuff, right? So like all the tables and chairs and everything for like all the special guests and all that kind of thing. Man, we were there from like, I mean, the concert wasn't even until like what, 8 o'clock at night. We were there from like 10 a.m. all the way till actually till close. So I mean, that was a long effing day. And I still remember when it was time to take the Stones their food. Is they had this big debate over what young lady would be the one to bring it, because it's something like, I can't remember if they were being sarcastic or if this was real, because it could be either. But someone said it was in their contract that they had to have a very attractive female, and they gave some specs in terms of what she needed to look like, who would be the one to deliver their accoutrement, I guess you could say. And I, like, at the time, I just thought, you better not ask me, because I'll smack you down. Like, that is not cool. Like, just the fact that it's in someone's contract, like, for real. And so they picked this girl who was like barely 20, you know, and she went and, dressed inappropriately and delivered their their food, and I don't know what happened because I chose not to find out. So, but that was and I got to hear the Stones from like backstage-ish, I guess you could say. So I never actually attended a Stones concert, but I have worked one. So
Nice.
yeah, yeah. Again, a completely inappropriate story. And they were rocking back then, so I'm sure they're just incredibly amazing now. So
Well, the walkers and the cane get in the way a little bit, but you really don't notice them.
not at all, not at all. Awesome. Well, with that, as always, thank you everybody for joining us. Absolutely, we love and adore you. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Peter. And we look forward to seeing you next week. So with
Next
that,
week.
ciao, guys.
Bye bye.
Yeah.